Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Extra. Now let's start by taking a look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper here, where the major story is talking about what is happening, which is the hunger protest, hashtag end bad governance, saying after day 2, what next? Now that's a question that everyone is asking. So Chan and the Can want immediate end to the protest. Now these are religious clerics saying it should stop now. Government must be sincere in addressing demands. That's according to the NBA, saying while the Sultan, of course, and the Khan is saying we want an immediate end. And the NBA seem to be with the people saying, okay, fine, if you want to stop, then the government needs to be sincere in addressing Nigeria's demands, which would say Nigerians have shown a lot of perseverance for the past 1 year of this administration. It also said history of mass actions in Nigeria. I always say go back and read your history, because for you to move forward, you need to be equipped with great knowledge. So Daily Trust took a time, that's for the Weekend Trust, to dissect and go through all the mass actions history in Nigeria, and you would see the outcome of it, and perhaps that would guide you into knowing how to move forward from this situation. I mean, Fatima, you've been at the forefront of, piling whatever is happening through this hash end bad governance and protests going on in the country. What is your take on all of this situation?
Well, training to me is actually a little bit of, tough to answer, because I've seen it all behind the scene. Some of the pictures and videos that we couldn't even show, during the production. But then it's a lot to take, especially having conversations with some of the guests that came on the program, and, saying, comparing the protest in the north to the south and, other parts of the country. There's a bit, will I say, conversation about the north is more hungry and poverty dwells more in the north. Hence the reason for some of the actions, but which, we're yet to really understand why some of the things happened across that side of the country. And that is a question that we need to ask. And then the looting, and we actually were expecting a peaceful protest, but then it turned out to be chaotic and violence and what have you. As if, some people are harboring pain, sort of, that they were waiting for a time to just vent, and that was exactly what happened. So it's not the kind of protest that we were looking for, because it has some implications, certainly, on the country, when it comes to economic and, crisis. Protest like this always has a way that it affects the country. Of course.
I mean, nobody, not even the protesters want protests to happen. We saw how we
have the anti-protest
and bad governance happen. Exactly. So nobody wants it. But then if it gets to this point, we have to agree that protest is an avenue for Nigerians to just vent, because you cannot go. I mean, one of our reports, we were looking at it while we were sympathizing and empathizing. There was a bit of laugh. You even have to laugh at how angry Nigerians, were when they were talking to our reporters. So we saw all of that happening.
We saw some emotional breakdown.
And all of that. So that is okay. That is a way that someone can easily go out and voice and air out their opinion
without violence,
which is the best. But we saw some hoodlums take advantage of that and decided to destroy people's property, and
it was expected.
Which was really bad.
Yes, which was really expected, sort of, because the IGP, the security agencies kept notifying Nigerians that there might be tendency of hijacking the protest, which some of us were actually skeptical about it, because we wouldn't want properties and lives to be lost, which eventually it still happened. And that's the problem with protest, whether crisis protest is a no-no, because at the end of the day, will it work?
Yeah.
Will protest work? Will crisis work? Because people will lose loved ones. People will lose properties. There were people that are not government officials, but they ended up losing some of their proproperties. So what can you make out of that?
Really
that wasn't the
breaks
kind
our
of
hearts.
protest
At
that
the
we
end
were
of the
looking
day,
for.
there was no intention or ill will of that particular thing happening. But we had lawyers, some lawyers from the NBA, of course, saying government did not do enough to stop the protests, which Nigerians saw. And until this is day 3, we're still waiting to hear from the presidency on, at least it's just like in a home when something is wrong, then you need a father to call on family meeting to address the issue. So people are still waiting, and we saw how the government or some parts of the government decide to use anti-protest in order to stop the protest. That is the pro-governance using protests to stop the intended protests, which I think even fueled a lot of people to go out to protest.
The reason I think why some states is a bit calm during the protest, because there were numbers of states that partook in the protest and some that didn't partake in it as well. And the organizers in those states actually had a dialogue with the government, and they came to terms, and it was a peaceful protest regardless. Indeed. They were not stopped from coming out to protest and vent what they're demanding for. But that is a good example that we were actually hoping for, and we were rooting for that, but it didn't come through for some
for
states.
The first day.
Yes. So, yeah. Second day was massive turnout too, but it was a bit peaceful than the first day.
I think people reflected on what happened the first day and decided to learn violence can never take us anywhere. And there were a lot of people coming out to say, no, we cannot go through this route at all. We need to take a step back and do it the right way, which we hope, if at all, this protest should continue to the 10 days or even beyond that. Nigerians are saying they want to please just make sure it is peaceful. You have to pay attention to your environment. Where if you see anybody that is even coming with violence or any bad ill and all of that, you protesters are supposed to make sure.
I'm sure maybe you saw a video of yesterday from Oshogbo that we got from one of the reporters sent in the Muslim Ummah praying and the Christians were guiding. That's the kind of unity we're actually looking for.
Yeah, it happened in Plateau.
If you're going out to protest, don't hurt each other at the end of the day. Whether you are hoodlums or not, your brothers and sisters are out there and they are fighting for you. That's something that you should be proud for.
Of course.
For them coming out, to demand for certain changes
and
for a better life.
While the lawyers are saying government did not do enough, there seem to be some efforts made by the government. We saw them saying there's going to be a reduce of the 50 kg of rice to 40,000. We've seen them saying that there would be, the federal government, I think, did about 110 billion naira Nigerian Youth Investment Fund. We saw that going around on social media. If you have businesses, you can apply for that fund. We saw emergency sitting by the National Assembly. Protesters have sent strong message to the government and at least approval of mandate secretariat of youth or for youth in the FCT. There's also the sale of crude oil. We saw how that controversy also was going on. And Nel Fund disburses over 1.1 billion naira loans to 20 students. There's been suspension of import duties on essential food. There's been approval of the 70,000 minimum wage that was approved by the Senate and also signed by the President. We saw moves to avert this protest from the government's angle, even though Nigerians are saying that move was not enough because none of it tackles the immediate need of Nigeria, which is hunger in the land. But then if you want to get details of it, the analysis of it is on Daily Trust. Make sure you don't miss the Weekend Trust. Below the front page there we see inside Nigeria's unresolved murder cases. That is really scary. Imagine having murderers running the streets of Nigeria. Beside that we see a day with Yobe displaced person. Now these are some of the stories and even more that you would find on the Weekend Trust this Saturday.
Coupled with the fact that it's the Saturday and Sunday compiled in one, so there's a lot definitely to unfold in that the Daily Trust newspaper. So go through that. And let's take a look at Punch this morning. The major story there says military threatens to intervene as police crack down on protesters, arrest 1,100 persons. We won't watch you destroy Nigeria, CDS tells demonstrators. Opposition knocks Tinubu over killings and arrests. You can find that story on page 4. Definitely, the military has been saying that, and Nigerians, concerns Nigerians have been saying, even the opposition or the ruling party, everyone has been saying, don't go for this protest, because definitely there are some that are pushing for and some that are against. You always find that, in situations like that. So it is really a sad situation. So go through page 4 for more details on that. Things fall apart. Lagos College turns war theater over provost tenure. Well, that's another story to look at. This is has to do with the youths. Go through page 20 for more details on that. Perception of greener pastures abroad misleading. This is coming from a Nigeria-born UK councillor, Asumu. Well, this is what we have been saying. And contrary to this, 3,173 Nigerian nurses, midwives have moved to the UK in 1 year.
I mean, we see this analysis increasing every day. So it is disheartening. One of the protesters, what I saw in one of our reports, was talking about our healthcare sector and education sector, how it has crumbled and it's just a shadow of itself. These are two important sectors that honestly, and there seems not to be a lot of attention being given to it. We've seen our healthcare system just keep dwindling. Everybody now studies studying maybe nursing, any health professional courses, is just thinking of finding ways to go to a country that values them more, a country that pays them more. And I don't think there should even be compromise when it comes to health workers at all. I think
the fact that this is actually coming from a Nigerian, born in the UK, saying that the kind of greener pasture that people are perceiving is actually misleading. And then we still have a lot of people moving out, even though it's not everyone that may get unlucky when they move out to other countries. They actually get to seek and get that greener pasture.
When we're talking about greener pasture, there are people that japa because this economy does not favor them and go somewhere. That's different. But if you have a professional course, especially in science, engineering, and all of that, let's be honest, the Western world pay you a chunk load. Yes, a chunk load. Yeah. And you realize you get the value of,
this is two-side story, coming from the UK-born Nigerian saying is misleading, and then we still have, tons of nurses and midwives actually moving out there. So go through page 5 and, 28 for that story. And Nance vows to shut down with varsities over 80,000 power fee. Well, is that supposed to be so? Well, if you want more details on that, you can go through page 7. And then Paul reveals fresh trouble in P-Square. I thought they've settled this issue just recently, just barely a year or 2 years ago, and now another fresh trouble. Well, if you want to know more details on that.
Fresh trouble on what?
P-Square is going through another breakdown.
Oh, okay.
Well, I saw.
They have not even come back yet.
They have actually settled.
No, not as in have a comeback song that.
Oh yeah, that is different. But at least we are able to see them unite as brothers, and they went on tours here and there. So it's sad to see that another trouble breaking out. I bumped into this, I think, on Wednesday when I saw that Paul actually said his brother got the EFCC, I think, to arrest him or something like that. So that's a whole lot, definitely. So that comment is actually revealing that there is fresh trouble, as it's captioned here. So you can go through page 16.
What is wrong with them? They are twins. They are twins, for crying out loud.
Sometimes, have you not seen where twins come out and
not like this.
They start off well and then they fall apart and then they'll come back.
Put it for the world to see involving the FCC.
It's a sad thing, it's a family thing.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but they will settle eventually. They are blood. So go through page 16 for that details. And then Lagos Farm probes top executive accused of raping worker. Amidst all this that is happening, we still have some sad stories that is attached to a single person here and there. So you can go through page 7 for more details on that. And then the Nollywood actress Bukola Okomola saying a lot. You can go through page 17 for that details as well. So that's it for the Punch this morning.
All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper, where the major story is saying 2 days gone, 8 days more, glimpses of national protest. There's of course a pictorial of the end bad governance in Nigeria, hunger protest, hunger and hardship protest going on there. We see below there, we see Tinubu blames global economic shocks for excruciating reforms in Nigeria. That's you find on page 2. At the belt there we see hash August protest, time for leaders to listen. If you want to get the inside scoop of that, you can find it on the Guardian newspaper. Below the headlines there we see tax before Abiodun as chairman and Southern Governors Forum. Onyeka Onwenu, how the reading stopped at 72. A really sad situation. I'm sure it was talking about her history until now. You know, our heart goes to the family of Onyeka, and she has definitely left a mark in a Nigerian's heart, and you know, uplifted Nigeria when it comes to movie and music to the global world. May her soul rest in peace. Now, these are some of the stories that you find on the Guardian today.
Okay, so let's take a look at the Vanguard this morning. The major story there says, nation divided by hardship. Certainly, how hunger protest exposed our growing divisions. Sumaya, you know, we just talked about it, and you know, early this morning we're actually still talking about comparing the protests, you know, from the north and the south, and here we are, you know, seeing a picture. You can see a picture of a boy without a shirt in a scene in Borno, and then the caption, how this protest actually showed how divided, you know, because of the hardship. What is your take on that?
Honestly,
because you could see the composure.
As much as I want to say, I brag to say, Nigerians are more awakened as ever, you know, than ever. Which is, you know, when even though you know, we don't want to protest, at least we do not want it based on exactly what is going on now. But for the first time, we saw Nigerians on social media lament the same language, which is we are hungry. And it brought Nigerians to the same page. Nobody cared, even though there was snide remarks that was not really needed about dragging culture into all of this, or tribes. People try to remove that from the equation, and people were supposed to come out together, like peacefully together, to say, okay, fine, we're coming out. But still, afterwards, we still saw a bit of division. Like some people did not really come out. Some are saying, yeah, it's because this is this. It's because we're not part of this. After all, you've removed, you know, comments like that, which is something we don't need right now. We don't need it. What makes us different is what makes us unique and what makes us lovable. Each time you meet someone, you're still Nigerians, but you should aspire to learn from someone's culture. That is what makes life sweet. This is the reason why we travel outside Nigeria, because we want to learn other cultures. Meanwhile, Nigeria is blessed with diverse.
Well, I mean, if you travel out, you know, I for one, when you just travel out, give it 2-3 weeks must. You want to come back home because it will never be like home.
Of course.
You may have all the life and the calmness, the peace that you are looking for, the money.
For a minute, the world is not even peaceful now.
But then, exactly, everywhere there is war. You know, I keep saying that most of the time here.
The
that
world is
everywhere,
not that peaceful now.
Look at other places that are still facing Russia, the Palestinians.
Yeah.
The war is everywhere. People come out to protest in other countries.
Even the country that thinks
you know,
itself
the
as the
economic
world
hardship
global.
is a global thing.
Yeah,
It's not just Nigeria.
we saw a former
even,
president
exactly.
at
And
like
we're not
almost
even in
being
the top 10
assassinated.
or anything when it comes to all this, you know, the
Yeah.
poverty rate and all that. There are other countries that taking the toll. They're taking the number 1, 2, or the you know, numbers there. So
So
but then,
I just hope we just drop the whole division thing. We need to move forward. Nigeria
we need to come
needs to
together.
use
Unity.
our smartness together and grow, and not be pointing finger at you caused it, you did not, and all of that.
Exactly. Go through page 10 for more details on that. I mean, it's a sad one to see children actually from the age of 8, 9, 10 coming out to protest. They don't even know what they're coming out for. Their families probably pushing them out to say, oh, go out to protest, or they
Not
just have
really.
the zeal because they see their elder
Not
ones.
really. I don't think so, Fatima. You know, we already know how the North
No,
is.
that's what I'm saying. That
we have
Al-Majiri. Their older ones coming
we have
out.
Al-Majiri, right? We have the what are they called? Displaced people. We've seen insecurity ravage the North more than anything else, and there are a lot of children that don't have parents. So I feel these kids are coming out from that circumstances, honestly.
All right, go through page 10 for more details on that. Day 2 protest, fire fizzling out. Crowds grow smaller, businesses return to normal in South. Armed forces will not watch while the nation burns, CDS warns. And then FCT police engage hoodlums in shootouts. Definitely, I think I heard something on that when messages here and there on social media, and then we tried to confirm if it is actually true. And some people that were staying in that access as of the time confirmed that something like that was going on. There were gunshots here and there and what have you, which definitely that it was expected that it was going to happen because we knew that people were planning to hijack. So, and those are the hoodlums that we're talking about. So, but then we hope that, you know, not a lot of lives were lost. So we are hoping for that. You can go through page 11, 5, and 6 for more details on that. And then it says, ignore Igbo must go reports. I don't know if you saw this article coming out to say they should be investigated and arrested and prosecuted. The Igbo protest must go reports. I don't know if you saw something like that.
I did. I saw articles reply. I saw the post, but I am still looking for where. Did you see the people saying Igbo must go, holding the placards?
Well, there is something about that for him to come out and say.
Yeah, I did not see. I was busy looking for.
Actually.
Yeah, but then I saw articles reply, and it made me curious. Like, of all the problems, why would Igbo would go where? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Well, that's another hashtag. Igbo must go. There's something.
It doesn't even make
going
sense.
On there.
When we started this project, or when people started this project, one thing I always say is make sure you have your demand on point. And I remember there was a call. We had a conversation. Someone called in and was saying, Fulani, I know even Nigerian. I said, no, that's not even a topic. We already know Nigeria has diverse languages. So definitely do not even think of calling out a language or tribe and say the tribe should go.
Well, this is a different campaign generally away from this.
Away from the protest?
Definitely. So it says Obi wants those behind the campaign arrested and prosecuted, similar to the demands of the former vice president.
I feel it was just an agenda from some troublemakers. You know, bringing in at this time of
but then we will go
governance.
Through that story much more later. I'm sure there's a lot to catch up on that. You can go through page 8 for more details. And then Dangote refinery, USA, Spain, France, South Korea, Singapore, others listed among top 10 importers. Well, this is interesting to see that all these countries are among the top 10 that are listed, you know, importers of the crude oil, I'm sure.
We already know it would definitely be an advantage to have one of our own having a
even
refinery.
Though he has a fallout with the
NNPC, which it should not even at this point. We already know it was the best, and we are glad that the president made a quick remark to address that situation and say it has to be one of our own. I honestly, I wouldn't mind if they decide to even sell the crude oil and everything in Naira, because that would definitely boost the Naira. and a value and all
the
of
value.
that. Yeah. So it is really great.
Well,
to
this
see,
is an interesting story to go through. I would love to go through this as well to see what it entails at the end of the day. So you can go through page 14 for more details on that. And then third one, where the Onyeka Owenu, how she fell in love at the age of 13. You know, her big career moment, love life, and more. You can find that on page 16. And you know, a lot of things were coming out gradually. You know, some posts that she talked about how she wants to be buried in a very casual, not too crowdy and too expensive kind of, you know, burial. And then a lot of things that we didn't actually see initially, maybe when it was out there. Now that she's no more, it's when it's coming out. And it's sad and, you know, nice to see a very peaceful life that she has lived.
Indeed, a beautiful one.
Yeah, definitely. We saw some pictures of her, you know, yesterday you and I were talking about that. It's a very lovely and cute, beautiful woman. So it's sad to see that she's no more, and our heart goes out to the families on this occasion. So page 16 has more details on that, and that's it for the Vanguard this morning.
All right, with that, I think we wrap up this segment. It's time to hear from you Nigerians on what is happening today in your area in Nigeria. We want to hear your take, but let's take a break, and when we come back, it will be time for us to connect with you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.